So in this question we're asked to solve the equation 2x squared minus 17x minus 168 equals 0, showing our working and giving our answers correct to two decimal places. Because I'm asked to round my answers, I know it doesn't factorize, so I'm left with either using the formula or completing the square. The formula is probably the easiest way to do this, but because we're practicing our completing the square technique, that's what I'm going to do now. Just like the previous question, this one is awkward because there's a 2 in front of the x squared. So I'm going to take these first two terms and I'm going to go over here to divide by 2 land. That's going to leave me with x squared minus 8.5x. And I'm going to write that in completed square form by going into a bracket with an x in the beginning and a squared on the outside, and halving my 8.5, making 4.25, to go in the bracket with the x. I of course need to subtract 4.25 squared on the outside of the bracket, and that's giving me 18.0625. Don't be put off if these calculations produce really complicated looking numbers. That's what the calculator is for, so you can expect to see some complex numbers in these calculations. Now this is 2x squared minus 17x in completed square form, but only in divide by 2 land. I need to go back to the real world now. So I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to multiply by 2 to get back to the real world. That gives me 2 times x minus 4.25 squared minus 18.0625 times 2, which is 36.125. That puts my first two terms in completed square form, but I mustn't forget about the minus 168. So my final answer here is 2 times x minus 4.25 squared minus 36.25 minus another 168, which altogether is minus 204.125. Now, if this question was simply to put it into completed square form, I'd be done. But the question is actually asking me to solve the equation, this thing equals 0. So I'm now trying to solve this equals 0. Now in order to do that, I just start proceeding as if this was a normal equation. I'm going to add the 204.125 to the other side. So I'm just going to use a little bit of space down here. 2 times x minus 4.25 squared equals 204.125. I'm going to divide by 2, getting x minus 4.25 squared equals 204.125 divided by 2, which gets me 102.0625. Now to get rid of the squared, I need to do a square root. X minus 4.25 is equal to the square root of this number, which is 10.103. It's asked me for answers correct to 2 decimal places, so I'm using my 3 decimal places in my working. Remember that when we take a square root, our answer can be both positive and negative, which is where the 2 answers are going to come from. Finally, x equals 4.25 added to the other side. So I've got 4.25 plus or minus 10.103. If I add 4.25 and 10.103, I'm going to get 14.35. And that's the 2 decimal places. And if I do a subtraction, if I do 4.25 minus 10.103, then I'm going to get minus 5.85. And that's the answers rounded to 2 decimal places. I'm going to be doing the same question the next way, and I'll do that in the next video.